Okay, not a whole lot of news today, but let's kick it off with some industry news. We're talking GAMA here, the Game Manufacturers Association, and they just put out an announcement that they are moving their dates to 1 week earlier, February 23rd through the 27th.
Really?
2025. So they changed that. They say based on a few different factors. 2024 was their largest show. They had a growth of 34% from the last year, which is wild. They had an exhibitor growth of nearly 50%, which is very, that's seriously a huge jump. But anyway, they're changing it due to some other industry shows that are happening. Toy Fest is happening February 19th through the 21st. Their GAMA Expo, like I said, 23rd to 27th. And then New York Toy Fair is at the very beginning of March 1st through the 4th. So they're kind of like moving around so that a lot of these are industry shows. They are exclusively industry shows, like New York Toy Fair. It's for, industry folk, the Toy Fest, all of that. So that you can attend those various things. Seems like a good idea.
As well as Dice Tower West, because Dice Tower West always overlaps with GAMA as well.
Right.
So by it moving, I know they moved away and then they came back to that week and now moving away again. That's really great to
That's good for us, like commoners who go to these things, but for the insiders, I don't think they're worrying about that one. They're more like avoiding New York Toy Fair and things like that. So,
okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It is good, though. And I agree with you.
It's good.
Okay. We have the Tabletop Game Designers. They launched a professional association this month. So the Tabletop Game Designers Association, which is there to elevate the profession. This is something that's been around for many years. It's an association that has existed in Germany for over 30 years, but there's never been one that exists here. And according to, Elizabeth Hargrave, who is one of the founders, it's high time for us to have a similar association in North America. So like I said, Elizabeth Hargrave, Jeff Engelstein, a few other founding members have come together to start this to support basically freelance designers. The idea here is to advocate for the fair and equitable treatment of freelance game designers across the tabletop industry. It's interesting that something like this didn't exist before, but we have it now. It's a blossoming market, so it makes sense that an association like this would come to fruition.
So much sense that I just assumed there was one already out there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And again, there are others, just not here. Next up, Dungeon Saga Origins, and from here on out, I think we're talking mostly games. So Mantic Games announced that they are launching Dungeon Saga Origins that came out some time ago, delivered some time ago, but it's showing up at retail this month. So you'll be able to get this at retail partners this month. They have, they talk a little bit here about the game, and they also have a couple of extra things you can get. These things are compatible with their Mantic's range of terrain crate, which I guess is 3D scenery. That stuff is compatible with this stuff if you happen to have any of that.
What is this?
This is
a board game. There's some back there, I think,
right,
actually.
I just didn't know what it was.
This is like, it's very similar to Hero Quest because it's a simpler game. A little more complicated, but not like modern day dungeon crawl.
Okay.
Like pretty much Hero Quest, roll and move, but also where you're facing depends. So it's a little more rules, but really family weight. So if you're going to play it with a family, this is a fun one. And the minis are great on it.
And this makes sense that this would go to retail.
Right, it does.
This is the kind of dungeon crawl you can get at retail and, like you said, not too much,
not
too intimidating. Right?
Okay,
not get home to Gloomhaven with your family and be like,
oh my gosh. You don't need the tutorial, like the 5 scenario tutorial.
Yes.
Okay, very cool.
There we go. All right. Let's talk about Lookout Games and their upcoming release. This is coming out at Spiel Essen in October. This one's called Tros, I'm assuming, and this is, usually you kind of know what to expect from Lookout Spiel. It's likely going to be an Uwe Rosenberg game. It's likely going to be, what have you. But this one's actually from a first-time designer, whose name I am going to attempt to pronounce now. Arne aus dem Siepen.
That's it.
Okay.
And it sounds like a light adventure game with players questing across a variable little map in search of gold. That's the idea.
I like that.
It has little towns, forts, and inns, and little secret places, and highwayman, and you're moving around all of this stuff. You draw some cards for movement. You are playing out of the 5 cards you have. You play 4, and then the last one you put on top of your deck or your discard pile. Everyone reveals the first card to determine player order for the day, the next day. It sounds like a traversal exploration type game. Looks cute. Sounds like maybe a little bit of a different thing from Lookout Spiel. I expect fairly heavy things from them, and this one sounds a little more, I don't know,
midway.
cavorting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds a little lighter. So there we go. Let's talk about monsters on the moon, Joey. Sounds like a setup for a joke. This game.
I like that.
Listen to this. Listen to this. This sounds. The setup is a witch, a skeleton, a vampire, and a werewolf have taken a trip to the moon.
Okay.
And now they want to make it their own.
Oh, this is gonna be funny. Go ahead.
That's it. That's the setup.
That's everything?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a card placement game in which every creature wants to expand their territory, collect moon crystals, and build walls, ideally spreading out over the surface in their quest for points.
So terraforming the moon.
Terraforming
With
moon.
monsters.
With
you're forgetting-
monsters,
With monsters,
right. I love
yes.
that
Crucial
skeleton.
part.
He makes me so happy.
I know.
This is
I love
from
that skeleton.
Dracula.
This is from designer Martin Schlegel, I believe is how you pronounce that. And I got to be honest, most of his games I am not a fan of. He has not a lot of great designs, in my opinion. But hey, then maybe this is amazing. It certainly seems logical.
If nothing else.
The witch wearing the hat on the outside of the bubble, that's extra good.
Somebody mentioned the
It's fine, they
skeleton
don't have
needing a
gravity, it
space helmet.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
There's a lot to unpack there. Let's just stare at that for a little bit.
It's a good cover.
It's a
It is
really
a
Yeah,
good
it's
cover.
fun.
The arrangement of those creatures actually reminds me of the one from Plaid Hat Games, the Summoner Wars. Summoner Wars has like
Oh,
all the
big
people
things,
around the
yeah.
center like this. This is a Summoner Wars spin-off.
It could be
That's
similar.
interesting.
All right. 25th Century Games announces Sand Art as an upcoming title.
Oh, wow.
A 2 to 4 player game from first-time designer Corey Jordan. Corey Jordan is, however, a first-time designer, as I said, but they have 3 other games coming out through another publisher, a new publisher, who I have to assume is friends with Mr. Jordan, or he owns it, because there's 3 new games coming. It's a company called Gospel Games. They're also a new company, I think. But this one from 25th Century Games here is, you're going to love this. It's a move and fill game that carries the spirit of a roll and write. Move and fill.
So they're just replacing both words now.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
All right.
does it have like physical?
No, that would be insanity. It's a roll. It's a move and write or whatever. The way it works is during play, you're going to move back and forth along a linear track of actions on a bench. The point being, you pass around this little bottle drawing, and you color in chunks of it. You can see it a little bit on the back of the box,
Right.
where there's a little sliver of red, and then a big swipe of green, and then a little sliver of yellow. That's what you're doing. You're sort of coloring these pieces in.
Communally, like there's one
Yeah, I think
bottle.
you pass them around,
Oh.
maybe. And then you're scoring points for that stuff. It seems like a cute theme. I like the jumping on point here of creating sand art is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
it's such
agree.
like a summer camp thing, right?
Yeah,
like I
so-
haven't thought of sand art in like 25 years. That's
Is that a thing you
hilarious.
did? You've
Oh yeah,
done
it's a
this?
very summer camp thing to do.
Yeah, okay.
There's a
right?
knack to it, by the way.
Oh yeah, there's some really good. Then you get the little toothpicks, and you have to go down to like kind of mix the colors so you can make
Really?
the mountain ranges and all
Oh,
that.
okay. You went beyond. I went for the layers. You went to like actual
Yeah,
heart.
you can like go in like
Okay.
actually make you do the different shapes
I-
in it, and so if you take like a long toothpick, you push it down the side, and it pulls the one color down into the other, and you can make like mountain peaks, or you can make clouds, you can make all kinds of things.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I made. I
That-
just poured
you did
different
great.
colors.
Yeah,
in.
that's too good for me. That is too good for me.
Wow.
All right. Let's keep talking about summary things. We're talking Big Sur here, which is a
Hey.
2 to 4 player game, card game. from Mondo Davis, whose name is Rockin'. Mondo
Good
Davis.
name.
Mondo Davis.
And this is
Mondo
going to be
Davis?
about you cruising, of course,
do that.
along California State Route 1 on the Big Sur Coast Highway, checking out the views, the landmarks, all of that jazz. So during the game, you're going to draft cards. You're going to use them either as resources to build new road sections or as the road sections themselves.
I do love that.
Your linear path of cards will score for connecting terrain types and meeting other conditions. There's also little sort of landmarks that you'll recognize if you know the area along the way. So it sounds like a fairly straightforward card drafting game with, again, a pretty cool theme. And
Interesting.
25th Century Games is putting out some good-looking stuff.
This is just a cool game. I walk with it. What is this? Big Sur. I'd go on Route 1 by Mondo Davis. Everything I said was awesome. Right?
No, I agree.
Any part of that.
I agree with that.
Whatever you want.
Flash the cover and just get back on your Harley.
I'm
Done.
excited about this one. I want to see more of it.
Yeah,
That
it looks
looks cool.
good. Looks good.
Sounds good too. That multi-use card system, and yeah, I'm digging that.
All right, let's go somewhere definitely not summery. Let's go to the Arctic here. This is from French designer Ludonaut. They are putting out a 2 to 4 player card game as well, Arctic here. And this one, the idea is it's a little tricky. As you can see from the image, there's a bunch of cards and placement rules. But the idea is you're going to be, at the start of your turn, you place as many cards from your hand into your personal pile as the placement value of your visible animal card, whatever that is. And then for each card you cannot place, you draw face down from the deck, and you place it in your personal penalty pile. So it sounds like you have to manage the animals you're seeing. The theme is you're out there looking for these groups of animals. Managing your hand of cards. Can I play these out? Oh, no, I miscalculated. I need to take penalty cards, what have you. This one, the explanation, I've read all this already, and I'm trying to paraphrase it to you now. I'm not getting it from the description, and I know you guys didn't either because I paraphrased it, but I'm not sure yet. Like this one, I can't quite hook into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the one we just looked at, Big Sur, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you're putting little paths out and you're moving along the highway.
It
Got
definitely
it.
like reduced the mechanisms down to a single sentence, which clicked.
Yeah,
And this one is like, wait, hold on, I simultaneously have too much information and not enough. Yeah, I definitely feel like I need to look at it closer to.
Yeah, the animals, this one is one of those things where each card, like the animal cards, for example, they have a placement value. The main animal depicted, a companion animal, and a draw value. It's like, okay,
Right.
draw values for the number of cards, placement values for how many I place. You know, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So this one is a let's just wait and play the darn thing sort of announcement.
No.
Arctic. I do like that cover.
I do too.
I really like that.
Those Northern Lights thrown in there. They always brag about those.
Right?
And they go direct to retail, right? Ludonaut? I think they usually do.
Yeah,
This
I
is
think
not
so.
a
I don't think this is
Kickstarter
a
thing.
coming to.
Like
Yeah,
that,
this is likely something
so.
you'll see
I
at
think they
Essen.
typically-
Most likely something you'll see at Essen.
Yeah.
Spiel. All right, this one I'm excited about. This one is it's also, the title. Go ahead, Joey. What's it called?
Crackle Oracle.
That's what I would say.
That's an oracle. It's like based on the Matrix.
Yes, right. It's based on the Matrix. So in this one, this is a cooperative drawing game for up to 8 players, and it's coming out mid-September. And it is basically everybody's given one of these little boards, and on those boards that you see there's a bunch of lines, sort of faded lines, but like a whole mess of lines already on there. Mm-hmm. You get a word on a card, and then you draw that thing to the best of your ability, but you can only draw on lines that exist.
Oh, wow.
You fill in lines,
Wow.
basically. You have to see the image as best as you can from the mess of little lines on the card.
That's interesting.
So you do that, you throw it in the middle, and then, like, let's say there's 4 people playing. You take those 4 cards and another random 4, you shuffle them up.
Oh,
You put them
okay.
all face up on the table, and then on your turn, what you need to do is remove one that you think no one drew, like one of the 4 psych outs.
Yeah.
So you look around and you go, well, no one, there's no horse. I don't think anybody drew a horse, so I'll remove that. And so on. And then if you leave, if as you went after the round, you leave the perfect 4, the same 4, then that's a lot of points for that. That's it. That's the game. You do multiple
It's like
rounds of that.
Drawing So Clover, kind
Right.
of.
Yeah.
You know, that's really
I like
that.
interesting. And
That
somehow
sounds
it'll look
really
better
cool.
than my actual drawings. Like, this will be better for me.
I think games like this that balance the artistic people and the non-artistic people.
Right, yeah.
I think it's like, although artistic people will probably do better at this.
Right.
But I
I
think
just
they're-
like the idea of like, well, if the
I
line
like
isn't
that.
there, you can't draw it. You have to use the lines that we built into the random sort of. You know.
Yeah.
This seems like, again, I'm not a party game person, but like, oh, one I'd be on board with.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is exciting. This is cute.
It's like the cloud thing. It's like, do you see it? No. Here, let me write it out there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
So yeah, I'm
actually.
excited for this one. All right, we've had here news from Korean publisher Happy Baobab. They are teasing a Spiel release from the designer of Trio, a hit in the last year here. And there's very little news about this. Everything we've got is that it's called Quintet, and that so far they've said it's a smart, fast, and original strategic card game. Also, happy International Jazz Day. That's
you.
all we've
Very
got. 5 cards, 5 turns, 1 star. Jazz.
Interesting.
So there we go. It looks really cool. I will say
I
that.
like
Like
the
that
artwork.
Art Deco look is amazing.
It's really striking.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything else. I like Trio, and if this is as clean as that, then I'm on board. All right. Some exciting news coming out of Portal Games. They have announced a couple of new things for Essen. See, this is the best time of the year because you start getting all
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Essen announcements.
Right.
Essen itself, whatever, who cares?
Nobody cares.
The news
Right.
for Essen. That's when I get salivating. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let me talk about Portal Games.
Start announcing cat horror
It's
festivals, stuff like
disgusting.
that.
Yeah, man, that Cat Horror Festival, that's fire.
So glad you guys
Yeah.
picked
Isn't
it
that
up
one
for
of your
me.
favorite games? We picked
Set
that
it
up
on
for you at
fire.
Essen.
We
You
did.
did.
I waited in
I
line for
appreci-
that game.
I appreciated
You know
that,
what else?
guys.
I never got reimbursed for that game.
Did you? I'll give you the game.
That's not a good deal. All right, Portal Games is coming out with a new expansion to Hiroshima Hex 3.0. This one is Desert Tribes, as you can see there, and it features hide and ambush abilities to help the faction survive the wastelands.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Sounds cool. Definitely on board with more factions, though I gotta say, I ran out of space in my fancy deluxe box insert several factions ago.
Oh, you won a big box at this point in time.
I
He
have a
has
big
one.
box.
And you
which-
had
yeah. By the time it came out, it was slightly delayed, and by the time it showed up, it already actually was out of date
Yeah.
because there were factions past it. It's like, oh good.
Yeah, you'll have to go the Tom Vassal route and
It
get
might
rid
be
of all
time
the
to
insert.
bag 'em, yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
Oh, really?
All right, and then the other piece of news, which is also very exciting, is
Excited
that
about this.
Resurgence is getting a re-release
That is a gorgeous.
from, it came out originally from Stan Kordonski's own Half a Kingdom games. He owns Half a Kingdom games. And so now it's coming out from Portal. Same logo. I like that they kept
Yes.
the logo.
Yeah.
neat.
But it's new artwork, a rewritten rulebook, and, quote, smart balance tweaks and enhancements to improve clarity and accessibility, end quote.
This could
that would be
use new
interesting.
artwork. I like this game.
Really?
a
You don't
lot.
like the artwork in the original?
Well, it's very just.
Oh, I love that
Did you
look.
really?
Yes.
I love the cover. I don't think I've actually seen the game itself.
I
No,
like
I like the
this.
look a lot. This one looks
Really?
very serious.
It's the
one-
apocalypse, though.
But it has a
I
dog.
get it.
But
No,
look at
no.
the puppy.
This one looks,
Go dog.
the cover of this actually looks strikingly similar to Detective. Like, strikingly
It
similar.
does, doesn't it?
You know, so I don't mind that look, that sort of serious look that Portal sometimes goes for. I really do enjoy, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of charm in the original. I don't want to discount the original. So
This is a totally different look than the original box and stuff.
absolutely, except for the logo, it's all different.
Yeah.
But,
Still,
but like you
Steam
said, I
and
think it's
everything.
really cool. They kept that original logo.
yeah.
Right.
You know, I think that's a really neat
I'm wondering
shout
what
out.
rules tweaks they put on there. They said
Yeah.
there's some balancing things. I'm like, huh, okay.
This is very
Yeah.
good news,
Yeah.
and I'm glad
Yeah,
that
that's
Portal
exciting.
picked this
I
up. This
think
is
this
excellent.
should have gotten more buzz than it did.
Well, again,
Endless
hopefully,
Winter
Sure.
got all the buzz. This did not.
yeah.
And I like this one a lot.
I'm glad that this is getting another shot. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, new Dominion expansion time. Rising Sun.
Finally,
Remember
an
when
expansion
Dominion
for
ended?
Dominion.
You remember that when Dominion ended 5 expansions ago?
It's never going to end, man.
Okay, Rio Grande Games is going to release Dominion Rising Sun, a new expansion this summer. The 16th expansion to Dominion
Seems
takes
like more.
takes players to the east. 300 cards, 25 new Kingdom card piles, shadow cards, and prophecies that will happen and change everything are included, and debt and events return. Rising Sun, MSRP $44.95. Get it.
Ooh, I didn't expect that price point. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So what's that times 16? Well, some of them are not that much, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Oath has a new expansion coming out, and this is Oath: A New Foundations. This is coming to Kickstarter soon. So Oath is this really heavy, sort of complex, evolving game. Not the kind of game I ever thought was going to get an expansion, I got to be honest. But hey, they are putting out an expansion to this.
Interesting.
The original came out in 2021, a game for up to 6 players. And so the expansion here, let me see, will be called New Foundations. It offers players new ways to make the game their own. According to Leader Games on X, formerly Twitter, the expansion will, quote, bring hundreds of new cards and fascinating new systems to your games of Oath, end quote. There we go.
Interesting. Oh yeah, I didn't see that coming. That's interesting.
And they also said that it's a little bit influenced by the development that they did on Arcs, which is interesting. That their new game Arcs, they're
Inspired.
like, oh, some of those things make me want to go back to Oath.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's interesting.
Oh,
okay,
that's really
sure, that's cool.
interesting. That's
So, like,
cool.
Still more excited for Arcs than Oath. Oath was cool, but man, that's like your game. Like if you're into Oath,
Right.
you need to like play Oath.
It's like
Yeah,
a
that's like
lifestyle
your
game.
game.
Yeah. It's a lot. It was very. It's a game that's more impressive to me than like fun. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It was like, wow, a brilliant mind made this.
So you respect it
scared.
more than enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh.
All right, and then the last piece of news, and of course it's last because it's Knizia, and let's face it, Mike DeLicio put these news together.
Those covers.
We've got 2 new games coming to Kickstarter later on from the Knizia company now, from Bitewing Games, and they're starting a brand new line. What are they calling these bad boys here? They have a new sort of like classic or fancy 2-player games. Let me find what they're calling this. I don't know where it says it is. Oh, the Mythos Collection. There it is.
Ooh, I like
the
that.
The Mythos Collection. So there's 2 coming. Ichor here and Iliad. And they are both inspired by evolutions of older Knizia games. Both of these are Knizia games.
Okay.
I know that the Iliad there is a little bit, it's a brand new game, but it feels inspired by this older game, Kingdoms.
Okay.
They're saying it's a little bit like Samurai. They're saying it's a little bit like a few other things. The other one was likened to Santorini by the publisher. And, they talked a little bit about sort of like how many different setup positions there are, all this sort of depth and interest. Huh. They're both very abstract.
These covers are incredible.
The covers are unbelievably good. Yes, they are
wait to
amazing
be let down
covers.
by the game.
But that's where I said, I was like,
The games
the more
are.
you tell me, the more.
Yeah, the games I think for you two especially are not going to be to your liking, but yeah, the covers are stellar.
You really buried that abstract at the end.
He did, yeah.
You know, it's
That's what he
like-
does.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that's first date conversation.
yeah.
You gotta bring that
Yeah, no, it's very.
Come on.
They're both.
like,
Again,
wow.
it's old Knizia type stuff, freshened up.
Okay.
Or something new, but inspired by some of the older Knizias, and those things are very abstract.
Okay.
The old Knizia stuff is tiles and rows and columns type stuff.
Oh.
Got it.
So that's what you're getting.
Okay.
I will say the
I love the
artwork, at the
covers.
very
We're
least,
busy.
the artwork for the Iliad,
Yes,
or
let us
just
know.
Iliad, I should say. The artwork for Iliad there at the top, which is very, very striking. The other one maybe too, but definitely Iliad. is from the same artist, and I forget their name now, but the same person who did that Veiled Fate game.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
I see that
Studio.
now. Yes.
Wow.
I think that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's
I
very
love that.
striking illustrations. Yeah, they need to do way more work in board gaming because their look and their eye for composition is amazing.
Well, just the contrast, the lights and the darks, the highs, lows. Like
Yeah.
I love the starkness of their.
So there we go. This is coming to crowdfunding, like I said, later on, and Bitewing Games continue their reign of Knizia Renaissance. There we go, folks. That's going to do it for the news. Let's move on.